The bathroom door clicks shut. For a split second, there's silence. Then softly a sigh from the other side, and a single paw slides slowly under the gap in the door, just enough to reach you. Most people laugh this off. They assume it's just a clingy dog. Maybe they think your dog hates being alone, or can't stand missing out on whatever you're doing in there. And that sounds right, until you notice something strange. They're not scratching, they're not barking, they're just waiting. But here's what's really happening. Your dog isn't trying to invade your space, because to them, the idea of privacy doesn't even exist. What you're seeing is something much deeper, a quiet system running in the background, built from safety-seeking, social tracking, and a habit loop that's been reinforced every single day of their life. When you stand up, they notice. When you change direction, they adjust. When you disappear behind a closed door, something in their internal map shifts, and suddenly, staying close to that door is the closest they can get to where you just were. It looks simple, but it's not random. It's calculated, predictive, almost like they're tracking you, without even thinking about it. And once you start seeing this pattern, you begin to realize this isn't about neediness at all. It's about how your dog organizes their entire world around you. And if that idea already changes the way you see your dog, type 1 in the comments and subscribe, because what we're about to uncover next goes even deeper than this. Now watch what happens throughout your day. You shift on the couch, your dog lifts their head. You stand up and walk toward the kitchen. They get up almost automatically and follow. You move from one room to another, even quietly, and somehow they still track you. At first it feels like coincidence, but it's not. This is a pattern that's been built, repeated, reinforced and strengthened every single day. Because in your dog's world, you are the source of everything that matters. Food appears when you move, walks begin when you stand. Attention, interaction, even subtle emotional shifts all start with you. So over time, your movements stop being neutral. They become signals. And your dog learns without being taught that staying within your proximity is the safest, most rewarding place to be. That's why even from a deep, comfortable sleep, the moment you change position, they wake up. Not fully alert, not anxious, just aware enough to ask one simple question. Where are they going? And should I follow? And most of the time, the answer is yes. Not because they're obsessed with you, but because this behavior has quietly worked for them over and over again. It keeps them close to resources, close to information, close to safety. So when you walk toward the bathroom, they don't see it as a random destination. They see it as another movement worth tracking, and following you there is simply the continuation of a pattern they've practiced hundreds, even thousands of times. But here's the part nobody really tells you. Your dog's brain isn't just watching you, it's mapping you, not as a person in the abstract, but as a moving point of safety inside their environment. At any given moment, your dog is running a kind of internal map. Where is food? Where are exits? Where is comfort? And most importantly, where are you? Because neurologically, you're not just a companion. You function as a stabilizing reference point. When you're nearby, their system settles, heart rate steadies, attention softens. The world feels predictable. But the moment you get up and walk away, especially when you disappear behind a closed door, that reference point suddenly shifts or vanishes. And that creates a small disruption in their internal map. Not panic, not fear, just uncertainty. So what does the brain do? It moves closer to where the safety point was last detected. That's why your dog does wander off. They don't go back to sleep. They position themselves right outside the door, as close as possible, without access. Because from a neurological standpoint, that door isn't just a barrier, it's the edge of where their sense of stability ends. And staying there is their way of keeping the map intact. Now take a step even further back. Long before your dog ever lived in a house, long before doors, walls or bathrooms even existed, there was one simple rule in a pack. You don't lose track of each other, because in the wild, separation isn't just distance, it's risk. If one member drifts too far, they become vulnerable. If the group loses awareness of each other, coordination breaks down. So over thousands of years, something very specific got wired in. Stay aware, stay connected, stay within range. And that instinct didn't disappear just because your dog now lives in a home. It adapted. Today, the pack is smaller, the environment is safer. But the rule is still there, running quietly in the background. So when you walk into another room, or close a door between you, your dog isn't thinking in words like, "Where are they going?" What they feel is much simpler and much older. I shouldn't lose track of them. And this is where it gets really interesting. Are they following you to protect you, or are they staying close because you make them feel protected? The answer is both. It's a mutual system, a shared awareness. A silent agreement that says, we stay within reach of each other. And if you've ever noticed your dog waiting outside the bathroom door, not whining, not demanding, just quietly present, that's not clinginess. That's loyalty expressed through an ancient pattern. And if this makes you see your dog a little differently right now, type 3 in the comments and subscribe. Because what looks like a small habit on the surface is actually a behavior shaped by thousands of years of staying together. Now here's the important part. A dog waiting outside the bathroom door? That's completely normal. In fact, in most cases, it's a healthy sign of attachment. They settle, they stay close, they simply wait for you to come back. But notice what happens while they're waiting. Do they lie down after a few seconds? Maybe sigh and relax? Or do they start pacing, scratching, panting, as if your absence feels unbearable? Because there's a quiet line between connection and distress. And it doesn't show up in the following. It shows up in how they handle the separation. If your dog can't settle even briefly, and that waiting turns into urgency, that may not be about bonding anymore. It could be the early signs of separation anxiety, not dramatic, not extreme, just a nervous system that hasn't fully learned that your disappearance is temporary. So here's a small adjustment you can try. Every now and then, leave the door slightly open. Give them just enough visual access to confirm you're still there. No big reactions, no reassurance overload, just quiet exposure. Because over time, your dog begins to update that internal map again, learning that even when you disappear for a moment, you always come back. And maybe the most important part of all of this is that your dog isn't following you to be annoying. Every time they sit outside that door, every time they curl up on the bath mat, or quietly slide a paw underneath, just to reach you, they're showing you something physical, that you are their safe place, not just someone they like, not just someone who feeds them, but the center of their world, the point everything else is organized around. So now I'm curious about your dog. Do they wait outside the bathroom, or do they insist on coming in with you every single time? Let me know in the comments. And if you've ever noticed your dog tilting their head when you talk, what they're actually trying to process in that moment is something most people completely miss. That's exactly what we're breaking down in the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it.